right, you are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So, I was up all night last night watching the Vladimir Putin Tucker Carlson interview. A very, very interesting interview. I hope you all watched it. And if you did watch it, you would understand now that Vladimir Putin isn't quite what he seems, or he isn't quite what the Western media, the propaganda machine, has made him out to be. I've been telling you that for years now. 2 years. You've got to listen to him talk. Because here's the thing. There's so much goddamn fucking propaganda, disinformation and fake news on every level coming from every direction that it's almost impossible to find your way through the fog now. It literally is impossible. Throw on top of that fucking memes, throw on top of that fucking re-edited voiceovers, like it's fucking wild now. It's almost impossible. So the only way I can think of finding my way through the fog is just go straight to the person. I don't want to hear what the media says, their interpretation of what someone says. I don't want to hear what an expert's opinion of what they said, or a scientist's fucking opinion of what the interpretation should be. Just go straight to the fucking source, the guy, go straight to Vladimir Putin and listen to what he says. Now, there's so much fucking propaganda and, well, they've demonized him so much. They've made him into this bloody, bloodthirsty dictator that to make sure you have to listen to a lot. So for the last 2 years, I've been listening to most of Vladimir Putin's interviews. There's a guy who does the best translation. It was better than the bullshit Tucker Carlson did. He just goes straight fucking translation. And he's accurate. You can tell, because I've watched so fucking many of them, you can tell by the gestures that Putin makes and his body language. And when you're reading, it matches more than the fucking interpreter did last night. I'm like, this doesn't really sound like he normally does. But still, you got a gist of what was going on. So for 2 years, I've been listening to Vladimir Putin's speeches, addresses, interviews, Michael Rossi, Pol Sci, political scientist, Polsci. He does the best translation. And over those 2 years, maybe I've watched like 30 or 40, 50 fucking Vladimir Putin interviews. And this is what I've gathered. He's absolutely 100% unflappable. There's not a question you can ask him that is going to fucking like throw him. The only thing that will annoy him is stupidity. And he will fucking let you know about that. The other thing is he's exceptionally smart. Insanely smart. I've seen him be asked questions that go for like 5 minutes by some like Indian reporter and shit like that from international journalists. And they go for so fucking long, and he'll break it down and answer it in a half an hour fucking session, each point. So he's retaining all the points of the questions and answering them and like destroying the questions. So he's insanely smart. And throughout all the interviews, I've never seen him flip-flop around. I've never seen him say one thing and then contradict it with another thing. It's just all straight down the line. He just says what he believes are the facts and just continues along. Now, I don't know what the fuck he is. To be the president of fucking Russia for that long, you have to be a strong man of some descript. There's just no way you're going to control a country that big like he does for that long. And especially the Russian people. The Russian people are like a stoic, strong, fucking wild people. So to be in charge of that for a long time, you've got to wield some sort of power. But do I believe he's a bloodthirsty dictator like they make him out to be? I don't feel like he is. It's always strange because there's always opposition to Vladimir Putin, and they always seem to get thrown in jail. But here's the thing. or murdered. I don't know if they get murdered. Do they get murdered? I feel like they just get thrown in jail. So every few years, there'll be an opposition to Vladimir Putin, and they'll go on 60 Minutes or something, and the Western media will get behind them, and the opposition to Vladimir Putin in interviews will speak like perfect fucking English. Just like straight down the line, fucking like Oxford English. And you're like, who is this where did he come from? Vladimir Putin for the last 25 years, even though he speaks English and understands English, doesn't do fucking interviews in English, just straight Russian. I'm telling you, if any other country in the world had a leader like Putin, you would be fucking praising him. Anyway, let's get to fucking last night's interview. It was an absolute masterclass in restraint. After he gave the history lesson, the 30-minute or 40-minute fucking history lesson up top, which I would like to see another fucking political leader in the world do. Just speak. Just any political leader in the world, just speak for fucking 40 minutes without stuttering, without sounding like an absolute fucking moron. Just do that as a challenge. I think he's the only one that can do it. So anyway, the restraint of Putin last night. He could have gone to absolute fucking town. He could have used the platform to fucking accuse everyone of everything and just fucking slam people, throw fucking international politicians under the bus. He could have fucking done everything and anything, but he just kept it low key. Just real low key. He's like, I'm not willing to say any more than this, but this is what happened. You make your mind up. And the beauty of this is he's given absolutely nothing for his opposition to rail against. If he had said like the truth, if he had bragged about Russia's position, how they're winning the war or something like that, he could have whipped the opposition up into a frenzy. Let's fucking go after him. But he just kept everything just low key. He's basically just going to let his opposition destroy themselves. That's what he's doing. He showed so much fucking composure and knowledge and just fucking facts. He also did this thing, which I thought was interesting. In the middle of the interview, he pretty much outed Tucker Carlson as CIA. He pretty much gave him the wink and said, you tried to get into the CIA, didn't you? Thank God they didn't let you in, Tucker. And then he said, don't worry, we understand. He basically said, listen, Tucker, you fucking idiot. I'm the Vlad. I know you're CIA. I fucking was KGB. You think I don't know? You think I don't have my guys on it? And Tucker Carlson was a little bit stunned. And it makes sense because fucking the way Tucker Carlson's just exploded in the last year, and his sort of change in tone and sort of opinion. I like him. I like Tucker. Whatever he's doing now, it's interesting. But for sure, he's got to be fucking CIA, doesn't he? But what's his agenda? What's he doing? Anyway, in When We Were Kings, the Muhammad Ali documentary about the Rumble in the Jungle, there's a part in the movie where Muhammad Ali hits George Foreman with a punch and George Foreman's going down and he's falling down and Muhammad Ali has another punch cocked, ready to go as he's falling down, and he could have thrown it just to make sure of it, but he never threw it. He just held it there and just watched George Foreman go down and land and finished. And I feel like that's what Vladimir did yesterday. He just held that fucking punch. I fucking tell you, you got to fucking listen to it. The history stuff at the start, I don't know anything about. Boyle breaks history. Maybe I should look it up. I should fact check Putin's fucking history shit. But there's a few people on the internet that don't agree with what he said. But I'll tell you this, when you have the likes of lying pieces of shit like Trudeau, Boris Johnson, pretty much anyone in the Biden administration telling you not to believe anything Vladimir Putin said because he's a liar, then that's a pretty good indication of what's going on, really, isn't it? Anyway, watch the interview. Let me know what you think. That'll do for tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see ya the fuck later.